Hi, Bhumi.
Hi,
So wonderful to see you.
thank you.
So here we all are, an audience waiting for you. So start,
Thank you.
and we'll have a conversation later.
Sure. I just want to tell you all that my health is quite weird today, so I'll be coughing in between. Please don't mind. It's part of it's part and parcel of my music. These pitches or swaras are definite. But what is indefinite, infinite, and variant? Microtones, Komal and Tivra swaras. Magic lies in these microtones. It can be seen, it can be touched, tasted when it varies in its movement. Movement is eternal, like Komal Dha of Darbari. Kobalga of Miyakitori. Re Daya Dayari Dayari and Komali of Bhagyashree. Ra, na, ra, 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 ri, ra, ra, ra. In my childhood, my Guru Ramarao Naik taught me these swaras as an imagination, like ascending and descending steps. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, ni, pa, dha, ma, pa, ga, sa, re, ga, sa, pa. But in harmonium, you'll see everything horizontal. It's a big challenge to think, imagine, and see everything horizontally in this world. Horizontal vision, imagination, politics, and ethics is all a revolution. Sensitivity, as my friend Sunil says, it's a conscious decision of being aware. Sound, sound. Sa. Sensitivity is the politics of conscious decisions. Whether it is music, caste, gender, or labor, it's all connected. Sa. Sa. True. Very true. Late Pandit Dinkar Kaikini used to always share with me that only if we develop that kind of sensitivity, we'll be able to see several microtones in between two notes. हमन है इश्क मस्ताना हमन को होशियारी क्या हमन है इश्क मस्ताना हमन को होशियारी क्या रहे आजाद या जग में रहे आजाद या जग में हमन दुनिया से यारी क्या. At 47, when I decided to do the transition surgery, people at my home, they said, we are still alive. You can do all this after our death. I told them, I can't wait till you people die. My mother stood by me. That was enough. One of my cousins, in fact, she said, personally, she didn't mind me being a transgender. Publicly, she cannot support because it's a question of respect. For a person like me who left my family some 27 years ago, how does it really matter? For some people like us who are already visible for various other reasons in the society, coming out has no meaning. I knew who I am from my childhood. Even now, I know it. I just did not have a language to speak or express. I have journeyed to live what I am today. As Allama Prabhu of our Vachanakara, 12th century, he says that we are open and out and we will be what we are. Bayalu bayalane bitti Bayalu bayalane beledu Bayalu bayalane bitti Bayalu bayalane beledu Bayalu bayalagi bayalaitaya Bayalu jeevana Bayalu bhavane Bayalu bayalagi bayalaitaya Nimma Sidavaru Nimma Poojisidavaru Munave Bayaladaru Anu Nimma Poojisi Bayaladenaya Guheshwara. There are many trans men like me who could not go through transition surgery or could not do transition surgery early in life. Some could not afford, some could not express themselves, some did not have information resources, some could not for health reasons. Some just adjusted with the dysphoria and fought with it with no options every day. Like my mother. She thought She was a man when she was studying in school. And later she found her masculinity in her stone through sculpturing. From my mother to me and to many more people, we undergo daily misgendering and daily dysphoria, facing ourselves in various different spaces. निरंजन की जय, निरंजन की जय, दुखत मेरो परताप सो अहमद झुके, निरंजन की जय, निरंजन। तू ही दूर करत दुखियन के दुख, पूजा करे सब जीव जग तेरो, परताप सो अहमद झुके, निरंजन। When all my friends were transitioning, I was so deeply confused that I got entangled in that old Sumati. Do I continue as that same old Sumati or as Rumi? Sumati. What an awkward name. Sumati means goodbye. The name is supposed to be an epitome of Sanskari Bahu. As it is, there are so many Sumatis in my life. And to top that, all the old Malayalam films had their heroines' names as Sumati. First of all, I'm not good woman. Second, actually, I'm not a woman at all. Forget good. Not a woman. What the mirror reflects, what the mirror reflects is all a lie, is all but a lie. I never had long hair. I never had long hair. I never looked fair. I was never good. I never saw my reflection. I never saw my reflection, not just in mirror, but even in water. Where did my salt and pepper beard vanish? Eyes that could hear, ears that could see. Eyes that could hear, ears that could see now erratically flounders for voices unheard. Within me, around me. Is it my ears or the mirror? Is it my ears or the mirror that is judging me continuously? In my childhood, my first fascination was Pandit Bhimsen Joshi. I tried to sing like him. Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramma Nammani Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramma. After a few months, the fascination shifted to Dr. Gangubai Hari. I started singing in her voice. Then too, my guru did not say a word. Then it was Mallikarjun Mansur, Zoharabai Agrawali, Siddheshwari Devi. And then my voice journeyed with many musicians. Gender journey. Has it ever ended? gender journey, has it ever ended? Roads crossing, closing, opening. Feet treads over many textures. Moist grass, blisters due to tar road, touch of desert sands, earth, mud, steps of warmth in my voice. Is it Fayaz? Is it Mansoor? Is it Zohra? Is it Gangu? Fatigue, 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 fatigue. It's all fatigue in my Mandra Madhyam. You know, now my practice is this early in the morning, nothing else. I know I have not gone beyond a step after this. After different stunts with my voice in 1996 only, I decided to never sing in a melodious voice. Another area of music I made a decision is not to sing the melodramatic bhakti songs. Trance voice. I first felt trance voice in Sonu when he was singing. Then Deepu, then G, then again in search of a voice that is mine, that is mine. Trans voice. A voice which is not led by gender conditioning, but a voice which we are. To be us, ours. To sing what we can, the way we are. As opposed to all the stereotypical gender conditioning. When Sonu first sang, I was touched by his voice texture. Trans voice is an experience. The touch of voice and its texture. In 2007, when Deepu came, my concept of trans voice got confirmed. When he spoke, I could feel his singing voice. Sonu, Deepu, G. Their voices touched my gut. Their voices transcend gender normativity and would be an experience to feel. And of course, another person, our own dear Akayama, the big mouthed Akayama. She sings, speaks, shouts slogans for the struggles of social justice in the same words. There are only textures, just textures. The touch of multiple textures. किसको ऐसी बात हो, किसको ऐसी बात हो, किसको ऐसी बात करे मौज पिया संग जो अपने, करे मौज पिया संग जो अपने, उस पर कर्म परवरदिगार हो, किसको ऐसी बात। मैं भी हूँ मीना भी हूँ, मौसम बरसात भी, उसका क्या कहना है यारा. Sorry, it's too high pitched. जिसका दिल बरसात हो, किसको ऐसी बात। Many of our trans women friends try to sing like women, singing in Bollywood in squeaky voice, and sometimes it becomes like a laughing stock. Nani Bhagyavati, Indu Nani Punyavati. Nane Bhagyavati, Indu Nane Punyavati. Govinda Ninda Ananda Hondinuva, Ananda Hondinuva. Ah, मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ, मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ, मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ, मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ. Why am I like this? Constantly in search of myself or my voice. Right now, my voice are running in different directions, different dimensions. Back then, and even now, we are still running. Once I asked my teacher, why am I in search of my voice? What is it that I'm looking for? Ramaraoji said, till you do not touch your voice, you will keep straining yourself. Your voice is what you are. My voice is still far away, like a mirage. It is still far away, like a mirage. Earlier too it was, and now too it is. ऐसा धुंध अंधियारा 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 ऐसा धुंध अंधियारा 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 ओ अंधियारा. In later years, with great discomfort, I settled down with my assigned gender. I developed a forced heterosexual arranged marriage status with my classical music and my voice. Now again, I've started transitioning. My voice is lost in crowds. It is the same search, same anxiety, and same confusion. Again, again, again. I was never my voice. I was never my voice. I am and was always in crossroads. I could never fit the frame of a classical musician or a musician. Mandra Madhyam. my home. I told you that I sing every early morning, nothing apart from this. The lower octave, fifth note. Sa re dha pa ma. When I identified as woman and I was singing in G and A, this note I could comfortably sing and I had a sense of belonging. Most wonderful experience of exploring yourself, seeing yourself, feeling yourself, touching yourself, your own body. But with transitioning, I'm again in search of Mandra Madhyam. As Pandit Vyasmurthy Katti sir said once, this aligns you to yourself. Mandra Madhyam is for me. ಹಳೆಯ ಅಂಗಳದ ನೆನಪೆಂದರೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ರಾಣಿಯ ಕಂಪು ಇಂದು ರಾತ್ರಿ ರೇಷ್ಮೆ ಕತ್ತಲಿಗೆ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಕನಸು ಬಾಸಖಿ ಬಾಸಖಿ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಕುಳಿತುಕೋ. Some relationships are like this, yeah. Oof, lifetime love affairs. Like my relationships with Komal and Tivriswaras. It's not like Swaras are angry at me for transitioning. My voice is annoyed with me for shifting homes. Maybe my voice is irked with me for displacing, rendering it homeless, more or less stuck. As much as I wanted to be a nomad, I was for 19 years. Back then, my voice was quite well settled. Now I am stuck aimlessly and my voice is wandering. In confusion, again in confusion. Have I become Jada? Stavara, static. Have I become static? ಸ್ಥಾವರ ಕಳಿವುಂಟು ಜಂಗಮ ಕಳಿವಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಥಾವರ ಕಳಿವುಂಟು ಜಂಗಮ ಕಳಿವಿಲ್ಲ. ಜಂಗಮ ಕಳಿವಿಲ್ಲ. Caste-based music systems constructed standards of being not only good musician but also good woman, a devout woman musician. Practice from childhood to become a child prodigy, sing at the age of 10 or 11, and then be married by 22. Within 1 or 2 years, have 2 children according to the government regulations. And by 27, life should be settled. Become famous, established artist, work as a wife at home, and sing as an artist in public, and get praised for both. Oh, she cooks so well. She sings so well. She's such a good host. One of my seniors advised me that I should follow this. Another teacher stopped teaching me music because I was not getting married. And the funniest thing is that if you're not married, they'll quickly fix your marriage with music so that you will become everything, music, sexual, probably. I had to sing concerts wearing saris, not just sari, bangles, bindi, gold, chains, sari, not just sari, pattu sari, the silk sari. This is even a good woman. This is more of a good woman than a musician, good musician. Music has always been secondary thing for women. What matters is looks, status of marriage, or be Santa Sumati Bai. It's not just the costume. It is also etiquettes, mannerisms. As they put it in Hindustani classical music circles, ada, ada. I, being extremely clumsy person from my childhood and always confused, have had all kinds of mishaps in performance, outside performance. In fact, I could have been called Queen of Mishaps, Santa Sumati Bai. Queen of Mishaps, Santa Sumati Bai. Note, I'm not still married. I'm also a Bai and not Devi. If I was not born in a Brahmin family, I would have remained Bai. Once when I was singing a concert in Mumbai, I had worn a sari. By the time I finished and stood up for audience applause, my sari dropped. I was standing without even a clue, with my pallu intact and rest of the body with only chaddi. This is my relationship with sari. I can still handle ragas, but not the biggest distraction of sari. Of course, I have several other epics of saris dropping, skirts dropping. In another instance, I was singing a concert in memory of Dr. Gangubai Handel in Bangalore. That day, I sang with no burden as I had started wearing gender-neutral dress by then. I was, say, around 35, 36, and I was on my own. I was not dependent on my parents. I was not living with them. So I could just directly come to the concert, sing, and go. I sang to my heart's content that day. A senior musician and a music lover came to me and told me, "Oh, your music was fantastic. But if you had worn a sari and dressed traditionally, the music would have been much better." What? Did he just say that if I had worn a sari, my music would have been automatically better? And why did I practice for some 17 years continuously, 10 hours every day? Bloody fuck, I should have worn a sari the moment I was born. With great discomfort, I have taken this burden of wearing sari and giving concerts. Other women musicians might not have found it a problem or a dysphoria wearing a sari and perform, but I feel distracted, dejected, divorced. The moment a sari touched my body, I feel like cockroaches are all like crawling in my body, and with that, to concentrate and sing. This burden of wearing sari and singing classical music has rendered me emotionally homeless. Again and again, again and again. I'm in search of a home. First time in a protest, I heard DMC Shivu and Hulkunta Murthy singing a protest song without the obligation of pitch or shruti. they had a thumbtack and they started playing and started just singing. Kattuteva nava kattuteva navu katte kattuteva kanna kanasugala. I cannot sing like them without the obligation of Shruti, without the obligation of thala, sari, bangles, jewelry. If you leave all of them, there will be no audience for me. Singing carefree is like the sounds of brush on canvas. Bliss like a cat yawning. Content with no confusion like balanced aroma of rasam just before the point of boiling. Like beef, which is rightly boiled, soft and not chewy. Like the fall of dried leaf from trees. But I failed to reach this state each time. Once, when I was singing a concert, probably that day, I remember in Samsa Auditorium, I was singing with Gauranji, a great tabla person, and he was a very good friend to me. That day, on stage, while singing, I felt wet. मेरो मन सखी हर लीनो सावरिया ने मेरो मन सखी हर लीनो सावरिया ने सुंदर सूरत रंग बरी चित चोरी सुध बुध बिसर गई मोरी सारी मेरो मन सखी हर लीनो सावरिया ने सखी हर लीनो सावरिया ने. My guru Ramarao Naik learned classical music, Carnatic classical music, and then he acted in professional theatre. And later, when he was 17 years, went to Baroda to learn Hindustani classical music under Ustad Fayaz Khan Sahib and then Ataq Hussain Khan Sahib. He loved theatre and he did say, if you don't understand theatre, or if you have not worked for theatre music, you will never understand the movement in music. If you do not journey through the body movements and expressions of common people, which is available only in theatre, you will never experience music fully. That's what he said. In that context, I first went and met B. Jayashree, a doyen of Kannada theatre. I came down from my ivory tower of singing and being a classical musician to quite an extent. She is her pitch, she is her tala, and she's her strings. She just breaks out into singing anywhere. I was flabbergasted with her kind of singing. Her spontaneous response and imagination challenged my skills of composing music. She not only made my brain work faster, but also instilled in me the movement of the body in my voice. For one play, she made me compose 40 songs in 2 hours. Here's a vachana. And I feel really unfortunate that my voice is so horrible today that I'm not able to sing properly. ಎರೆಯಂತೆ ಕರಕರಗಿ ಮಳಲಂತೆ ಝರಿ ಝರಿದು ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳವಳಿಸಿ ಆನು ಬೆರಗಾದೆ ಅವಿಗೆಯ ಕಿಚ್ಚಿನಂತೆ ಸುಳಿ ಸುಲಿದು ಬೆಂದೆ ಆಪತ್ತಿಗೆ ಸಖಿಯರನ್ನಾರನು ಕಾಣೆ ಅರಸಿ ಕಾಣದ ತನುವ ಬೆರೆಸಿ ಕೂಡದ ಸುಖವ ಎನಗೆ ನೀ ಕರುಣಿಸ ಚನ್ನಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ಎನಗೆ ನೀ ಕರುಣಿಸ ಚನ್ನಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ. ಹಾಡಿಗೆ ಕಟ್ಟುಪಾಡನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿ ಹಾಡಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಹಾಕುವ ಗುರುವು ಕಲಿಸುವನು ಹಾಡಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಕಟ್ಟುಪಾಡನ್ನು ಮುರಿಯುವ ಅರಿವು. The guru who teaches the rules in music strictly and also teaches how to break the rules through singing. These Komal and Tivra Saras are very cunning. They can be very, very, very slimy. They can set a melodramatic trap. This trap will not let your ears see beyond a certain image that is constructed by the glorious bhakti. Like this raga. दिल लग जाना रोग ते की करिए दिल लग जाना रोग ते की करिए किस दी याद विच अखियां रोन दी की करिए सानू ते मिलन दी आस रहंदी है हर वेले भुलिया दे यारी भुल जान दे यारी भुल जान दे थे की करिए. I was taught to say, I'm very fortunate because my caste, that I'm able to learn from so many important gurus. My family would say, if you were born in some other caste, you would not have access to this music. Before realizing my political location in feminism and transfeminism, I used to parrot what they taught me. But soon I started realizing the gender, caste discrimination and humiliation through the stories about music by my guru Ramarao. Those were the real theory classes and not the books of musicology. He always said why Brahmins chose to sing and play stringed instruments was due to untouchability and purity. Issues of touching dead skin of calf, buffalo, goat, unholy animals. He also said that Brahmins would often not choose to play blowing instruments, especially like the Nadaswara or the Shahnai. It would be impure for them to keep spitting. I repeat, spitting, not blowing. But of course, flute is very pure. Very pure. like pure cow ghee. Caste-based instruments connected to classical music is always pure. Oppressed caste people were allowed to play accompanying instruments as the show must go on. My guru used to share with me the stories about how each oppressed community developed some or other trait of music within its own culture. It was this culture that got appropriated to the folds of classical music. And then they would say, oh, the barber community, those people are experts in wind instruments. Wah, wah, yeah, besh, besh. Smiths, potters, and cobblers and other oppressed castes are experts in making instruments, percussion instruments, and also play them, very well. Good, British. While there is a need of the oppressed caste people to make the instruments, there is also a hierarchy of instruments when it comes to the purity. Instruments used for the classical music are very pure and considered to be taught in the institutional spaces, like in the hierarchy, mridangam, akavaj, tabla, khanjra, dhol, ghatam. That's it. Yeah, tap, tamte, are, pulavan veena, pulavan kodam, parayan chanda, dol, damdi, chaudike, mukhavine, all these instruments from the oppressed castes, they are never taught in universities or academic spaces. Once, a famous violinist from South India, whom I used to know from my childhood, said, is sarangi even an instrument? Sarangi, is it an instrument? Goat's intestine is used as a string in it. How can we Brahmins touch it? Yeah. It is played by those untouchable castes, not us. Oof. मौसिकी तेरी जात क्या मौसिकी तेरा धर्म क्या मौसिकी तेरी जात क्या तेरा धर्म क्या मौसिकी तेरा जात क्या तेरा धर्म क्या मौसिकी तेरा जात क्या तेरा धर्म क्या अरे मौसिकी तेरा जात क्या तेरा धर्म क्या. Once while transcribing a lecture of dancer Dr. Maya Rao, I came to know that there are 3 levels of hierarchies in the Devdasi system itself. So, the Dasis who are subservient to kings and, gods and the priest class are called Devdasi. They are like stuck inside the temple. Then there are Dasis for kings, feudal lords and other people, and they are called Alankara, Rajadasi. Then the least one comes is for these people who, and the commoners in the streets, in the markets and such places where women would dance and perform and sing and entertain, they are called Alankara Dasis, the least in the hierarchy. Dasi says, subservient for whom? For what? For lifestyle, society or system? Pradyumna Shastri answers the Dasi. A Dasi, as they say, you are not pure for us. You should not sing classical music. Singing for entertainment of common people is not pure and holy. You might have lived thousands of years singing, dancing, and all that, but you're not pure. I have built this system for my convenience. And in that, your voice is prohibited. Freedom and all is like unimaginable for you. Dasi says. We should be inspiration for your imagination. We should be the body of your imagination. We should be the heroines of your poetry. We should live your poetry. We should be your lust. We should not raise our voices. Our freedom is not important for you. We should not express ourselves. This is a trap, a conspiracy. There are many women who raised against this conspiracy, like Goharjan, Zorabai Agrawali, Bengaluru Nagaratnama, Begum Akhtar, Siddheshwari Devi, Rasulanbai, Gangubai, Bala Saraswati, M.S. Sublakshmi, M.L. Vasanta Kumari, Shanmugavadi, Veena Dhanamal, and the list goes on. Between juxtapositions of masculinity and femininity, there were many hues of voices and feet. Feet that treaded untrodden pathways and created hard rock histories. No challenge untouched, no questions unanswered through their lives. Rumi, sing a song. Yeah. Chalo, start. Sing a song, don't hesitate. Yeah, don't do too much nakhrayas, Rumi. Sing, yeah. What is the problem for you? It's okay if you're standing in the middle of the road. Sing. My answer to people who think I'm a radio, which can be switched off and on. Every time I sing, my dysphoria disrupts me. For you, it is only a measure of raga capturing. I am stuck with song, body, voice, thala, culture, and I have to take that burden. Riyas is my space, my open space, my room of confidence. I'll do anything there. If you people want to come, sit and listen to me, please come to my Riyaz room. If people, sorry, but I've stopped being a radio these days, especially after a well-known musician, especially after a well-known theatre person spread it to many people saying that I needed support to sing because I'm on testosterone. I have decided, Rumi, sing types will not work for me. Have you ever seen people, the moment they see a filmmaker, do they all ask, Acha, quickly make a film and show me? Even music needs a break, yeah. Humor, pain, gut level screaming, out of tune, out of range, not always perfectly in Shruti. And of course, change. Change is needed for everything. Do you know what I'm singing? Malhar. My Ramrao ji, had such a sense of humor that you would make fun of bhakti, reverence, and fear of God. And every chance that he, this raga is supposed to bring rain, which is the conviction among musicians. So whenever I sang, even the rain which was pouring would stop. I chose to sing just after it started raining. Even then it would stop. I was so disappointed that one day I told this to my mother. She's another crack. As usual, putting me in further mess through her mischief. She said, pray to Lord Ganesha, put a garland of vadas to him, offer him. Then when you sing, it'll rain. I did that. It didn't rain. So I told my Guruji that my mother asked me to offer vada garland and it will rain. He started laughing loudly. He said, Ganesha will eat vada and fart and it will not rain. I realized that over bhakti never gives space for humor. My mother and my guru taught me how to see music like a friend. Not just that, to also understand concepts that it will not rain when you sing Malhar. It's just a poetic imaginary, imagery. That's it. Huh. How many classical musicians have sung without any remuneration, accompanying artists in slums, garbage collection centers, and segregation spaces, working spaces of common people, sex workers, etc.? One Timaka, a sanitation worker, asked me to sing when I went to do a survey for their wages. She was changing the garbage bin, and I could hardly stand there without holding my nose. But when I saw her, I did not. She asked me, what do you do? I'm like, I sing. Immediately she said, sing a song. I was crushing inside my place of ivory tower of being a classical musician, not being able to sing a small song for her. This is when I started looking seriously into myself, trying to find the tanpura of harmony inside me. That was also the beginning of my journey, exploring my voice's gender. A voice that does not waver on my politics, a strong voice of choice to decide what not to sing just because everybody sings. How to sing, why should we sing, and where we should sing. At 40, when I hit menopause, I had started identifying as a trans man with courage, knowing quite well I'm going to permanently lose chances in classical music. On the other hand, alternate spaces opened up for me, for my experiments. I had a serious dysphoria about my body, but the voice was different. Then my dreams about a transition voice was like, I yearned for a voice. I yearned for a voice that is like empty foot feeling raw, treading many textures of stone, earth, mud, and moist, sometimes strong, sometimes tarred, sometimes like a hug you get from a friend, sometimes like language textures and tongues like Urdu, Tamil, Dehati, Punjabi, sometimes like dum of biryani in Kolikod Angani, sometimes like the touch on clitoris like Komal Dha, sometimes like a voice that screams its pain out loud, sometimes like the wives and their lives. A life among many worlds, a life full of lust, love, passion, and compassion. I started taking testosterone of 100 mg from October 2019, and I wanted a voice which was a mix of acting mastery of Srinivasan in Malayalam cinema industry and Irfan Khan of Hindi cinema. A voice with wit, humor, intensity, and the nature of being a common person, but never melodious. Never. ಕೈಯೊಳು ಜಾಮ ಹಿಡಿದ ಭಂಗಿ ಕುಡುಕರು ನಾವು ಭಂಗಿ ಕುಡುಕರು ಉಚ್ಚ ಹುಯ್ಯುವೆವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಗುರಾಣಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಗುರಾಣಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಕತ್ತಿಗಳ ಬಿಸುಟು ನಾವು ಕುಟಣಿಕೆಗಳ ಹಿಡಿವೆವು ಕತ್ತಿಗಳ ಬಿಸುಟು ನಾವು ಕುಟಣಿಕೆಗಳ ಹಿಡಿವೆವು ಭಂಗಿಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಅರಿವೆಗಳ ತ್ಯಜಿಸುವೆವು ಭಂಗಿಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಅರಿವೆಗಳ ತ್ಯಜಿಸುವೆವು ಪರಮಾನಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಾಕು ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಾಕು ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಾಕು ಪರಮಾನಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಾಕು ನಾವು ಇಸ್ಲಾಮಿಗೂ ನಾಸ್ತಿಕತೆಗೂ ಲೆಕ್ಕಿಸೆವು ಭಂಗಿರಸವ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ನರಿಯೆವು. This melodious voice is a trap of gender caste conditioning. How should women sing? How should men sing? Feminine, masculine. Singing is associated not just with the voice, but anything robust becomes masculine and anything intricate is feminine. The style that I'm trained to sing in, Agra Atrali Gharana, is claimed to be masculine gharana. Everybody boasts about it. Well, most of the singers in this style sing not just robust, but complicated rhythm patterns. There's a marked deviation from this kind of kind of singing by Zohrabai Agrawal. And of course, like nobody can beat her. She's so brilliant. I was always burdened with these statements. You are born to sing. Music is your breath. How can you think of not singing even for a moment? I hope you are practicing every day, huh? Oh, I hope you have not stopped music. Whatever you do is fine. Yeah, go have sex with anybody, do whatever, but you should sing every day. I've heard you've started working with these hijras, it seems. Have you stopped singing? Even when you die, your dead body should sing. There are thousands of people who can sing. Sorry, there are thousands of people who can work like you, but only one Sumati can sing. For these kinds of people who assume themselves to be my supporting pillars, in my life and music, my answer now is my music has gone to restroom. Once it comes back, I'll start singing. With all this, I remained in the borders of loving and abhorring music for 48 years in my life. Even now, I'm in the same border, not knowing how to love music. ये फासले तेरी गलियों के हमसे तय न हुए, ये फासले तेरी गलियों की हमसे तय न हुए, हजार बार रुके हम, हजार बार चले, हजार बार रुके हम, हजार बार चले, न जाने कौन सी मिट्टी वतन की मिट्टी थी, नजर में धूल जिगर में लिए गुबार चले, हजार बार रुके हम, हजार बार चले. Once in a concert long time ago, I sang in Mysore Palace. I made a mistake. And I immediately apologized on stage instead of covering it up. I was taught by my teachers to apologize on stage when I commit some mistake. Because for them, the effort was more important. And what happened? My mother's brother heard this recording and just picked up a fight with me for apologizing publicly. He said, I'll teach you a lesson. I'll teach you a lesson for apology. How can you apologize? So he kicked me on my stomach. That day I had periods. He abused me in many ways to correct me, my walk, my breath, my obesity. Actually, I was literally corrected, amended, corrected, everything possible to suit a classical musician. I didn't know how to walk. He thought he had the right to correct everybody. So he would keep telling that he will teach a lesson by kicking the butts of people. Whenever I heard this, I don't know how many times I've heard this in my childhood, but whenever I heard this, my dysphoria towards my body, caste supremacy, my own gender grew like a mountain of disgust towards myself and my family. In January 2020, I started singing comfortably. Actually, that was the best time. One step lower than what I used to usually sing. It didn't feel like a huge shift. I felt like reaching the depths of my own self, and I really enjoyed. I even composed music for Jayashree then for her play. Then I had no confusion at all. Later, March 2020, I saw some changes, like my pitch was getting lower and lower, A to G, G to F, F to F sharp. And then it was very weird. I could not sing higher notes. It became an ego issue within me. I mean, I can't sing higher notes. I can't sing higher notes. It was hitting me. Slowly, These unreachable notes started dancing in front of me, mocking me. My head is trained in the old pitch. My voice sings confusedly in the paths, which is like old building where there are no windows, no doors, and no roof. Since the beginning of testosterone dosage, my confident, comfortable voice started journeying into abyss of unknown forest. Old pitch voice cannot sing. New pitch voice is like an auto horn in those olden days. Suck. Singing itself became not impossible, but with great difficulty, the voice throws out air, empty air. Not even a line of voice comes out without a cut. Sa. It doesn't feel like one has practiced for some months. It doesn't feel like one has not practiced for several months. It feels like you can sing everything. But it feels like a vacuum cleaner. Flowing air, unclear. Until some time ago, I was feeling I, me, my voice, my body, my thoughts, my politics, my music. Now I'm too confused. Everything breaks down in front of me as though the tones and microtones have gone on a strike and have replaced themselves. It is now my search to figure out what they have replaced themselves with. New textures of paint, grayer clouds, falling yellow and brown leaves, drops of rain in lavender. What are they? Where are they? For whatever, they all have gone and disguised. I too will change. I'll change. I'll change my singing style to find them all again. But I know it is going to be another long journey. Another long journey of transition. Forever in search, forever in search, in search, in search, in search. Newer paths, in search of my voice. Don't know where it is leading me. Don't know what my voice is seeking. My heart, my body, myself, or my voice. Waiting in the path of rebirth, rebirth of choice and love. Love for a voice which is mine. But when a dream comes true, when does a dream come true? How many times has it come true? Intense work is all that I have in front of me. Steps make way for another life, another dream, and maybe another voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Rumi. Kahan se kahan, from where to where, and so many places you have taken us. I think I'm very speechless. You know, when you started this performance, when you did the first time you performed it, you might have to, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You know, when you performed the first time this performance, from there to now, also so many journeys. So much has changed, so much has happened. I was listening to you. I thought first I will take notes. And then my notebook went away. I was just listening to you, thinking it's incredible. I really feel that your words and your sound and all the things you've said and what they mean are just within me right now. It's very difficult to speak. But I really want to thank you. You know, to begin with, I've spent a whole day listening to a lot of trans journeys in life, day to day. And each one has been complex, full of so many different emotions, so much pain, so much violence, so much also about knowing who you are and trying to find that, the journeys of, which get repeated in some loops in various ways. You manage to move something, then something happens in life, you move back, you come out. And still this constant thing that, no, this is what I am to do. This is what I have to be. This is what I am, and I'm going to continue fighting for that. And that's, I think of queerness and transness of journeys that we have all our life, I think today when I was listening to you, I was thinking you added more layers of complexity to it. So, because today in my head, it is just so much about listening to queer and trans lives. I'm thinking about the themes that we all talk of. Finding home, being a home, a relationship that, keeps coming back in our lives, that keeps shifting. I think when you talk about music, as well as, this complexity of it, and I think you're using those metaphors all the time, also so many different ones. But when you say that it was an institutionalized marriage from it to becoming something different, something freer, open, where you break open lots of things. And that's one place, and I feel that that reflects a lot of the journey so many of us have had in different ways. And then when you say that music had a home in me and then the home gets unsettled, or I had a home in music and that got unsettled, and music had a home in me and that got unsettled. I mean, our relationships with homes and our bodies and ourselves, so much there in your, what you're saying today. I just kind of feel that it's just something that one comprehends deeply. At the same time, I think when you speak and you're singing as well, you make us feel so much more, that you feel the complexity of it more and more. Thank you.
You people have been very sweet to me, even if I've sang so horribly. My voice is like, maybe that's my insecurity, because also ego, because every time it breaks, it hurts. That's it.
I think, Rumi, the fact that you continued to perform, or that you chose to perform, I just want to share with everybody that Rumi wanted me to start with an apology from them to all of us, to say that I'm sorry, I'm not well enough to come and I'm performing long distance. And I said to him, I said, Rumi, thank you for trying to perform, right? In the first place. In a field where excellence has such hard and impossible standards, right? To even take the courage to say, my voice is like this, I am struggling to find a home and I am performing. Actually, Rumi had said to me that if my voice is not feeling up to it, I will not sing. But this is also Rumi, right? Who will push, and in some ways, your voice opens, in some ways it ceases.
Yeah.
And to allow us to be part of that extremely private struggle, actually, I think it's like a privilege for us to even
for you to allow us to see it and to be no, and to be with you through it in whatever little way. I think that it's also a sign of your strength to be able to be vulnerable, and we treasure you for this, for teaching us that vulnerability is also something that you share, and you share then that strength with each other. That's something I wanted to say to you.
Rumi, you've talked so much about your music. I'm not going to comment on that. But you're sitting with this beautiful backdrop of paintings behind you. Tell us. I think you said it in the end, towards the end in your program, you said that, what form it will take. Maybe it will be in the colors, it will be in the moistness, it will be in feeling. The sound of a brush, and I'm seeing these beautiful paintings that you've been making, and of course I'm a very proud sort of owner of one of them, and I kind of cherish, but also I feel that somewhere what you're doing with your painting is so immensely connected with your music as well as your politics and your, what you're thinking through. So I think what you were singing, talking about today and singing also, all that is also, you're thinking it through and living it through and actually feeling it through in your colors as well. And so it's really amazing that you sit with the backdrop of the paintings that you've been making in this very time period.
No, actually, when I said that I can't come, I insisted on doing these two paintings to keep it in my backdrop. So I told Vani that, so Vani was saying, why do you want to strain yourself? I said, no strain. I want to, basically, I'm also looking for at least one person who can talk about, everybody talks about a transition body, but nobody is talking about a transition voice. And I really want to know if there is anybody. So whatever I'm feeling and whatever way I'm like trying to express about a transition voice, I'm like trying to put it through as much possible, because I know like how I did not find documentation. Tomorrow somebody else should not, struggle with this kind of, getting disappointed at every single second, and then suddenly the hope comes saying, okay, tomorrow I'll be able to sing. Okay, tomorrow I'll be able to sing. So that's why I did these two paintings, and I took like 2 days to do that while I was rehearsing for this. And I told Vani, I said, this is what I really want to do. And really, thanks, Vani, you did put this up on Zoom, because I was really not in a way or position to travel.
And we were not ready to lose you either, Rumi. So that was there's no thanks involved in this actually. If at all, it's only for you to continue to say, no, I'm not, because I was like, you're not well, you don't want to do it, it's fine. And Rumi was like, no, I'm at a position where, irrespective of what it brings forth, at this point in my life, I want to perform. Because, they'd done a reading of this play before. And at that point, a year and a half ago, the place they were at was very different. So in fact, the script itself has shifted, the voice has shifted, Rumi's own questions have shifted. And for me, that is like a really, not just for me, for everybody who was at that earlier event and who has viewed it on YouTube, and everybody who has seen this today and will see this later, I think these are the journeys that actually somebody can discover, as you're saying. You wandered into the territory unaware what it would mean to you, right?
Yeah.
I think that that is something that you will open those windows for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because for different people, their internal homes are very different, right? So when we talk of identity and words like that, they don't always capture all of that sort of sentiment and your own sense of self, actually. I just wanted to turn around and say, do any of you have anything you want to say to Rumi? Ask Rumi, just come up and speak, please. It will be lovely for them to hear also from us. Come here because the speaker is on the laptop. Shall you just stay?
Hi, Rumi. This is Pavel.
Hi. Pavel.
Yes, this is me.
Okay, I've never seen you, but we have spoken so much on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to show my face, and I also want to sort of like remember this one interaction we had. There was this what do you call this workshop sessions on trans feminism, and then I remember like you were there, you performed for us also.
Yeah.
And I also wondered, like seeing, like I was expecting some parts from then, which also came, but also saw the different changes. Every time, like one witness your performance, it always brings different questions, and it seems to sort of like open up layers and layers of unsaid, unexplored parts of like one's desires, particularly talking as somebody who loves to sing. There was Dawn in me, and both of us were really questioning this at the time, the voice at the time, because both of us really wanted to retain our skill, but then at the same time we were really concerned about, we had stopped performing in public because we were going through the transition phase, and somehow when we sing, it feels like, going back there again. So really, really lovely. And thank you so much for doing this. It means a lot. We also shared at that time. And again, this is 2 years from then. And still came to just witness it again. It is very intimate. And thanks a lot for doing this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pavel. Anyone else have anything you want to say or ask or respond or to anything that Shals said, anything in the performance, anything that struck you?
Actually, it's
It's a lot.
it's a lot to take in, but I also see that with Rumi and Sunil and a lot of other friends, but especially with Rumi and Sunil, every time, I think our association has been for so many years, and we've all learned from each other so much, but also always they have pushed the boundaries of our understanding and have forced us to think and rethink again and again. I mean, so many gender discussions we've had over the years together, and every time one is thinking new. And I feel that in that sense, when we talk about being trans, a voice is our main concerns. But the complex, because everybody does it. I mean, if you, I remember the very first time I did a search on it was Kate Bornstein had, from the 70s, or she had this little write-up called Voice Lessons, and then she put it on tape as well. So this is the time when we used to collect tapes. And she says at some point that when I went through my transition, I had to change my voice and I had to deal with it. And so I called up a speech therapist who was going to teach me how to speak like a woman, right? So the speech therapist was like, okay, you have to raise your pitch. So she's like, okay, I have to raise my pitch. And he was like, no, higher. And he's like, okay, but at the end of every sentence, you have to not sound so sure. You have to have a question mark at the end of every sentence. So she was like, at the end of the lesson, she was like, so do you want me to speak like this? And then the person said, perfect. And she said, fuck off. And I think, that was just like one single lesson. And I was thinking, but that voice has always been a very strong thing of transness. And when we talk about somebody clocking us, not clocking us, then be able to pass or not pass, in so many different ways, so many times, trans friends, especially when their voices are more recognizable, masculine or feminine, won't speak.
Yeah.
like a very simple thing, and you're at ordering in a restaurant, you'll just point to something instead of saying it. So it's not as a voice is not an issue, but this complexity of a voice of music, right? Which, when you are a classical music singer and when your voice and your being are so intricately connected, then what it does just gives us a whole new space to think about, to feel. And I really feel that Rumi's, you're pushing again the kind of understandings one has. Because yes, it's true. Transition is not just about body and everything, it is about everything one is. One changes, and one's willingness, your willingness to jump into the journey and, kind of mark it as you're going, also reminds us again and again, that we are also all doing it in different ways. So
Yeah.
one should have the sort of thing of being able to, that, okay, it can be done. Even if it is difficult, even if it is complicated, it is a journey which is finally mine. And it is connected to, others.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
So Rumi, just to say a big thank you, much love. And we're missing you, wish you were here in person to give you hugs and to spend more time with you.
Sure.
And but one day we'll do this in closer proximity. But until then, Zindabad and lots of love. And a big thank you again